Hey guys, welcome back to another video, 10 out of 10. My name is Mari, and today we're going to be talking about bullet journaling for beginners. So I know it's beginning of the month, and a lot of people want to get their lives in track. Even my friends have been talking about, oh, I want to organize my life better. I want to have task lists so that I can figure out what I'm doing every day and not wasting time, which I find that for myself especially, I tend to forget a lot of things, so it'll go over my head if I don't write it down. For those who don't know, bullet journals are essentially those planners you can get from Indigo or Chapters that are already pre-made. Like they already have the monthly setup and then prompts to get you thinking about certain things or task lists. So a bullet journal is essentially that, but it's more DIY. You can decide what tasks you gotta write down. But I know that bullet journaling now has changed a bit where people like to set up nice task lists. More so like the planners that you'd get at Indigo, but handmade. The original bullet journaler who made the bullet journal, his name is Ryder Carroll. He wrote a book called The Bullet Journal. If you guys want to read the original way of bullet journaling, then take a look at that book. But if you guys are here to learn how to bullet journal, or at least be inspired to try to start, then keep on watching. This video is going to be split up into 3 parts. The first part is tips on starting a bullet journal. Part 2, supplies you're gonna need to bullet journal. And part 3 are spreads that you need and don't need. So let's get into it. Tip number 1 is find the purpose for your bullet journal. If you don't know what your purpose for your bullet journal is, then you might end up going all over the place. So even just knowing if you're even like a habit tracker person, or if you're always on the go and you just need something quick to write down thoughts, but know what your purpose is for the bullet journal. Otherwise, it'll become a burden to try to set up monthly setups for yourself if you're not even going to use them in the first place. And then you end up looking at your bullet journal and it's empty because you don't use it, right? So writing out that purpose will help you to use it more effectively throughout the year. So tip number 2 is finding inspiration. Finding inspiration helps me to start my bullet journal and not just starting it in the middle of the month because I didn't know where to start. So just going on Pinterest, Instagram, or Google search and searching up bullet journal spreads is pretty helpful actually. I find inspiration in just looking at really pretty stuff. Even if my bullet journal doesn't end up being pretty, finding inspiration helps you to start your bullet journal early because you feel inspired to do things a different way that you used to do. Tip number 3 is don't buy so many supplies. So you found your purpose and you found inspiration. If you buy so many supplies and you don't use them, you basically wasted your money because like say you buy so many markers but then you don't use them and they will dry out. Yeah, there's no point in buying supplies that you're not going to use if you don't know how to use them just yet. My advice for that is to buy supplies little by little, see what you use the most, and then if you find out you need, like say you want watercolors to add to your collection, then buy a small set first. And then try that out. Or washi tapes. You don't need to buy a whole bunch of washi tapes. Like for me, I first bought a bunch of washi tapes, but then I found out that like a lot of them weren't, like I wouldn't use them all, but this is essentially the set of washi tapes that I have now. It's pretty compact and I use a lot of them pretty often because I know what I use. Don't buy too much in bulk. Buy what you need. Don't buy like 3 notebooks at once because you couldn't decide. Decide on 1 notebook, use it up, and then if you find that this notebook didn't work for you, then go for a different notebook. But don't buy too much bulk at once if you don't know what you really use the most. Tip number 4 is being open to changes. Be open to making changes that best fit your lifestyle. If you were originally inspired by people because bullet journals are really pretty looking, then you find out that it's just not helpful for you or your daily schedule doesn't work with it, then you can make changes to work with that lifestyle, right? Like for me, when I was in school, I would use my bullet journal all the time because I had so many things going on at the same time, or I'd have due dates, I'd have tasks that I need to complete outside of school and in school. But then once I graduated, I found that there were some days, especially because of my work schedule, where I'd be working 12 hours. I'd do like back-to-back 12 hours and I wouldn't use my bullet journal for those days because what am I going to do? I'm going to come home, eat food, go to sleep, wake up, go to work. That's my schedule. So those days would go wasted. So I'd end up doing more of like a running task list so that I wouldn't waste space for the days that I wasn't using my bullet journal. So know how you're using your bullet journal and evaluate towards a certain point how much you're using your bullet journal and what changes you got to make for yourself. Supplies that you'll need to start bullet journaling. Number one, you need a journal. It can be whatever journal you want it to be. I have the Dingbats. It has dot grid. The paper is pretty thick, and I find that it's a pretty good medium for my own needs. A lot of people like the Leuchtturm 1917, but this paper is a little bit thinner than some people prefer. Or you can go with anything that you find helps you. It could be lined paper, dot grid, regular grid, empty space. Basically, if you like to sketch or you like to freehand a lot of things. My first journal was this one. If you compare it to the size of my current journal, it's pretty small. This is what I'd use in high school. It had no lines, just empty pages. But I found that it was pretty helpful for me because I didn't really need that much. And then I also use this Muji. It's dot grid as well, but it's small. I really like this if you guys need a budget bullet journal and you don't want something, or you can go with lined papers, the stuff that you can get from Walmart during back to school sales. Honestly, just find something that inspires you to use your bullet journal. If you like the way it looks, if you like the way it feels, then you're gonna use it more, right? The other supplies that I'd suggest you to have are pencils, pens, any kind of black pen. I know ballpoint pens work better with highlighters because they dry faster. So your own preference. I like to use the Pilot G2 or the Pentel Energel or Pigma Microns if you have that kind of money. I think also having whiteout is pretty helpful if you make mistakes. Having sticky notes, whatever color or style they are, is pretty helpful for me because I like to sometimes accentuate certain tasks that I need to do. But honestly, you don't even really need that. You can just use like one color, like a marker, a Crayola Supertips, which I find is also like a pretty good budget price because you get such a big pack. But yeah, whatever you have the budget for, whatever you have the preference for. But again, don't buy too many things if you don't know what you're dealing with yet, or if you don't know yourself well enough. Onto the supplies you don't really need. You don't need watercolors if you're not a watercolor painter. You don't need washi tapes. Sometimes it becomes more of a collection than an actual necessity. If you find that it's helpful for you and you're not just making excuses for yourself to buy more stuff, if you don't need it, don't buy it. Like, figure out how you work, and if your workflow is good and you want to add like one marker or one pen here and there, you go to Michael's, buy one marker. Just know what kind of supplies that are helpful for you and you are going to actually use. That's really what you need. So, the spreads that you need and you don't need. I think there are only literally two essential spreads that you actually need. One is the monthly setup, and two is a daily setup. The monthly setup, you can have it as a calendar, or you can have it as like the little number calendar and then a box for tasks. I think that that's an essential just because you plan out your month and you write out the tasks that you need to do for the month. So they're not always in your like weekly tasks, like you don't write it every single time. The weekly task list or the daily task list setups, you can set up as a rolling task list. This would be a rolling task list, and then a weekly task list. So there's a weekly setup and then there's a rolling task list. So whichever you prefer to do. A rolling task list is more so you write the day that you're on, and then you write the tasks that you need for the day. But if you say you have something tomorrow and you're not going to be using your journal at all tomorrow, then you don't write anything for tomorrow, and then you just resume on the day that you need to write another task list. So depending on your needs, then you can do it that way. These are the two spreads that I think are the most essential to bullet journals. The spreads that you don't really need, I find to be more of an optional preference thing if you're trying to track certain things. You don't really need habit trackers, goal trackers. A lot of trackers are based on your own goals for yourself, but if you don't really need to use a bullet journal for goals, then you can skip that. But if you do really like goals, goal tracking, which I find that some months I'm more inspired to do, some months I don't, but you can cater it towards whatever you find that you're inspired to do. So say you're trying to track exercise, or if you're trying to track your own goals for school or budget goals. I find that for myself, I use budget trackers the most. Really small habit trackers, not like a full spread, but like a small tick-off calendar of habit trackers. If anything, for you guys, my suggestion is to look at your month and see what you want to do with your month. But if it becomes a chore, then you don't need it. Like, scrap it, you know? Your bullet journal is supposed to help your life, not make your life harder. I like to use it as a way of looking back at what I've completed. But when it gets too burdensome, like if you end up spending 4 hours in a day making your bullet journal and then you don't end up using it, like, all right, evaluate. Is this actually what you needed for yourself, or could you have been more efficient? I am not an expert though. If you guys enjoyed watching this video, please give it a thumbs up, a comment, and subscribe to 10 out of 10, and keep watch for any other 10 out of 10 content coming up for this next month. And have a wonderful day, guys. Stay safe, keep your masks on, and plan your day out so that you're more effective and you can chill more at the end of the day. But yeah, bye.